So technically, I'm a Division I football player that is a decorated veteran and was cast on Saturday Night Live. And I didn't do one of those things. But that is my resume, technically.
This may be probably the shortest Saturday Night Live tenure in the show's long history.
The show firing one of its new cast members before he even appeared on the broadcast.
My agent calls and was like, "Did you say that slur?" And I was like, "No."
His offer.
See, welcome to Rich House Comedy, all right? Guys, we love comedians that are not afraid to say whatever they want. I do not like this whole community of people that try to stop these comedians, because these comedians are the light on our dark days. Let me know why you like Shane Gillis. Welcome to Rich House Comedy. If you like the vibe here by the end of the video, I just need you to subscribe and hit the top bell. I got 3 other channels above my head that might be more to your liking, and let's find out about Shane Gillis.
To join Saturday Night Live rescinded after days of backlash over racist and homophobic slurs he used during a podcast.
And by the time I got to the stand, like TMZ was there.
No. With his comedy special sitting on 12 million views and having the #1 podcast on Patreon, Shane Gillis is one of the biggest stand-up comedians of this time.
He definitely is.
How would you like to go on a date with Donald Trump?
From joining the army, washing dishes in restaurant, facing a storm of criticism.
One favor, guys, Gillian Keys, I actually reacted to it twice. If you guys have any suggestions, drop them in the comments on what episode.
Losing his biggest opportunity of his life to becoming one of the most praised and successful stand-up comedian. This is Shane's full story. The story begins in Trinity High School, west of Harrisburg, where 2 high school lovers, Phil and Joan Gillis, met. Years later, on December 11th, 1987, they welcomed their 3rd child and first son, Shane Gillis.
I'm from Mechanicsburg, Pennsylvania. I grew up in a suburb of, like, white trash. Irish Catholic family.
Shane grew up with 2 older sisters.
You have brothers, sisters?
I have 2 older sisters.
2 older sisters.
Yeah.
One time my sister, she's here, she lost a game in basketball her senior year, and I was talking shit. I was like, "You guys fucking suck." At the dinner table, and my dad was like, "All right, square up, finish it." We cleared out the living room table, and my sister and I boxed. We cleared out the box, and she fucking rocked me. I was getting killed. I was like, "I don't want to hit her back."
Shane went to the same high school his parents attended, where he did well academically and excelled in football.
But compared to every other Division I prospect, yes.
Okay,
then yes, I had good grades.
Even though he was captain of his high school team, Shane didn't get an offer from his dream college, Notre Dame, where his grandfather and uncle attended.
I played tackle in high school.
Left or right?
I was left tackle in high school.
His choice was limited between East Michigan, Temple, and the Army. And he chose to join West Point, but his time in the Army was short-lived. Only hours in his stay at West Point, Shane decides he doesn't belong there.
You went to Army for how long?
Literally 3 weeks.
How do you
Before
get out?
it got hard.
How do you
get
get
out? You just cry. All you have to do is cry.
Like, get this bitch out of here.
Yeah, if you're 6'3", 300 pounds crying, they're like, all right, you going home. So your parents drop you off at like 5 a.m. They drop you off in regular clothes, and your parents say goodbye to you. And then at the end of the day, there's a parade of all the new cadets in front of all the parents. And now they see you marching in a uniform, head shaved, at the end of the day. So during that parade, I see my mom like waving a flag, like one of those mini flags, and I walk by her, and she was like, "Yes," and I was like, "I'm getting the in 1 hour," and she literally went like this, dude. She goes, she dropped her flag. Yeah, I didn't belong there at all.
Even before his first day at West Point, and finding out he's not dedicated to the military like the other recruits, Shane started regretting his decision to join the Army right after he
Yo, how many of y'all are happy that he's not in the Army, yo? He could have been in the Army right now. You know what I'm saying? Like, we could really be, this could not be one of the funniest guys in the world right now. He could actually be in the military having a bunch of his peoples laughing. Like, this guy's crazy.
So after I committed, I was like, I f***ed up. But, you know, I was 17 or 18 at the time, so it's new, like, up like that. I spent most of the time at West Point quitting. Like, it's a long process to try to get back out.
A lot of forms.
And just everybody that comes in tries to make you stay. Right. You know, like, it gets easier. I'm like, I don't know. Wow. I don't know if I like this. And then you also get there, and it turns out all your teammates are real gung-ho about the military. They're all like, yeah. And I was like, I want nothing to do with the military. I just want to play football.
But when he calls his parents to tell them his decision, he was met with an answer that caught him off guard.
So when you call your parents like, hey, I'm quitting, they're coached by like drill instructors and recruiters to be like, say no. Say they're literally not allowed to come home. So my parents, when I called them and I was like, I'm coming home, I'm quitting, they were like, you cannot quit. And I was like, you guys are fucking losers. Like, you're a loser. So mean, dude. I was so mean. I was like, you're a fucking teacher, Mom. Shut the fuck up. I mean, dude, imagine crying on the phone with your
There's
mom.
a line of other dudes crying, waiting to get on
with
that
your mom.
line.
Like, shut the fuck up, Mom. You're a loser. And then they finally, the next time I called, they're like, all right, of course you can come home. We were told to say that.
After I quit West Point, or I quit, and they were playing Army-Navy was in Philly. I was at Westchester. Every one of those games. Yeah. I was at Westchester. My sister was having a Snuggie bar crawl. So I'm in a Ninja Turtles Snuggie. The team goes to the bar that I'm at after the game. The kids that watched me cry and quit were at the bar drinking after their Army-Navy game. Man. I was in a Ninja Turtles Snuggie. What? And they're like, yo, it's Gillis. Dude, what are you doing here? I was like, hey, what's up, guys? They're like, how are you doing? I was like, pretty good. I was
doing the combine next week.
Not doing great.
Things are going well. You definitely didn't tell us that. That hurts. Brutal.
That one's a tough memory.
Because he quitted boot camp early, he had a chance to go and make it to another school's preseason. So a week later, he joined Elon University. But Shane wasn't ready for what's waiting him in Elon either.
So I get to Elon, and that sucked.
I wasn't talented enough to like play early, so I would have had to have like worked.
Well, this is a sign, guys, to pursue what you feel. You know, people will always tell you what they think is best for you, but pursue what you feel and go with what you think is right. And I hope that means something to you because this is motivational where I am.
It's very hard for like 3 years to play one.
Yeah.
And I was in year one, just like, oh, this is never gonna happen.
In high school, Shane was relatively bigger than other players, so he had a physical advantage. But after joining college, that wasn't what he experienced on the field.
Like you're going up against like jacked, giant dudes that are physically dominating you for 4 hours every single day. So that sucks.
Just beating.
Oh man, dude, I was like,
and you're going up against big D
slow
tackles and all that.
Well,
shit.
even the safeties would like come down, dude. Guys that were like 180 pounds would just level me, dude. I sucked. I fucking sucked. You go from high school where I was 6'3", 290 in high school. I was bigger than everybody.
Yeah.
I could literally just walk towards someone and they'd move. And then you get to college and like those dudes are huge. So the reality is like you go from being the best guy on your team to the worst guy in the conference.
Damn.
I was so bad, dude. When my O-line coach at Elon fucking hated me.
I was talking to my coach after a practice or after a meeting, and I was like, I think I'm gonna quit. And he was like, oh yeah? And I was like, I think I'm like the worst player on the team, right? And he was like, pretty close. And I was like, all right,
thanks for the honesty.
Thank you.
I gotta get up out of here.
That was my whole identity, my whole life. I was like, I'm a football player. I'm a football player. And then you find out you're not. And it's like, oh, fuck.
After quitting football, Shane didn't stay in Elon for long.
As soon as I quit football, I just drank and stopped going to class. So I got like kicked out of school back in my parents' house.
Damn.
Gained like 50 pounds.
And what came next is the lowest.
Guys, have you guys ever been the person that left college? I love college. I got kicked out the dorm. They found I was smoking, and they found it in the dorm. But I didn't want to go. I wanted to know, have you guys ever, did you guys go? And if you didn't go, why you didn't go? And if you did go, what was your, experience like?
This point of Shane's life, he moves back to his parents' house and starts washing dishes in one of his friend's restaurant.
So I left Elon, went to Harrisburg Area Community College. So this is all in the span of like a year and a half. My parents think I'm going to be like a senator at West Point, like a general. A year and a half later, I'm like failing at community college, sleeping on their couch, washing dishes. Yeah, I ended up getting into Westchester University, just studied history.
Shane received his bachelor degree in history and moved to Spain where he taught English for 6 months.
I went there thinking like, all right, I'll be cultured. You know what I mean? I went to the same bar every day.
Oh, dude, yeah.
Got shit-faced every day in the same bar. I didn't see anything.
Yeah.
I didn't go anywhere.
The idea of trying out stand-up comedy came to Shane back in Mechanicsburg while he was washing dishes in his friend's restaurant. He gets introduced to a place where he can do open mics by a coworker.
It's funny because when you're starting, I had no idea how you could do stand-up.
Same.
From fucking Mechanicsburg, I was like, I would Google.
Sure.
I was
Oh God, yeah.
I was like, what did Will Ferrell do?
Yeah.
Google it. And
Audition
be like,
for SNL. Yeah.
Done. And so then one day I was in the depressed phase. I was back home
washing dishes at my friend's restaurant. And then they were like, hey, one of the chefs is doing a open mic tonight. And I was like, I didn't know you could do that.
Yeah.
So
In
I,
Mechanicsburg,
yeah, at
PA?
the Harrisburg Comedy Zone.
Okay.
So I went and I watched. There's like 9 people there in a bar.
Yeah.
And I was
Yo, he
watching it. And I was
acts
like,
like
oh,
he's
these guys
from PA.
suck. I could do
Yeah.
this. So then I watched that for like 2 months, and then I finally went on and just fucking bombed.
Oh,
See, when I started comedy, it was only in the summer because I would do it at home, not really at school. And then I would take like 6 months off, a year off, like shit like that. One day I got fired from my job in Harrisburg, and I was like, I'm gonna move to Philly.
Yeah.
And then
I'm
just
from
left
Jersey. I
Harrisburg,
live in.
moved
I'm
to
from Jersey.
Philadelphia to do comedy like full time.
On 2016, Shane won Philly's Funniest Contest at Helium Comedy Club.
So I was in Philly for like 4 years.
The same year, he started Matt and Shane's Secret Podcast with Matt McCusker.
Welcome to Matt and Shane's Secret Podcast.
Welcome to the Secret Podcast.
Top secret stuff going on over here, including the launch of a brand new podcast.
This is the very first episode. This is big time, dude.
That's
I think we're gonna
crazy.
get a lot of bad reviews after one.
Probably.
Maybe give it a shot again and realize that podcasting is not for us. But for now, this is it. Or this is the best. This is top 5 all time.
This could be exactly. It could be.
We'll see.
After staying in Philly for 4 years, Shane moved to New York to push his career further.
That's
in 2019,
crazy.
Comedy Central named Shane an Up Next comedian as he performed at Comedy Central's Clusterfest. The same year, Gillis was recognized as one of the new faces of comedy at the Just for Laugh Comedy Festival in Montreal.
As a kid, was SNL always a goal?
When I was a young kid, yeah, I was like, Chris Farley's the funniest guy of all
Hell
time.
yeah.
Mother of mercy, I don't speak Japanese.
And then Will Ferrell, I thought, was easily the funniest dude.
Favorite SNL character? Go.
You're a real hooker.
That's mine right
I'm gonna
there.
slap you in public.
And then, but once I got into stand-up, I was like, I'll never get SNL. Like, that's not, I knew who I was.
Crazy.
I wasn't, and I knew what they were. So I was like, I'll never get that.
After his impressive performance in Just for Laugh Festival and Comedy Central's recognition, SNL reached out to Shane.
They saw me at JFL and Clusterfest with Comedy Central. And my agents were like, hey, SNL wants to give you a writer's packet. I was like, I'm not going to be a writer. I didn't do it. They're like, SNL wants you to audition. I was like, we want you to audition straight to the main stage. So I was like, yeah, definitely.
Wow.
And I was still like, I'm not going to get it. Like, I remember being in the waiting room with my friend, Reggie Conquest. We were together waiting for this. And I was like, I'm never going to get this. Like, this is, like, I didn't care. You wait in the green rooms, or like the fucking cast members' rooms.
Right.
So you're just in there waiting.
Right.
And for like 2-3 hours while every single person there auditioning goes through.
And that's what gets in people's head.
That gets in people's head.
That gets in your head because
And
this
it's
is the job in
it's
comedy.
intentional.
Yeah.
That's why they do it. And I was sitting there thinking, like, there's zero fucking chance I get this. So like,
Right.
I was like, okay,
You just
whatever.
having fun.
That's crazy, bro.
When they brought me in though, that's when it really hit. Like,
Yeah.
because they bring you to a separate green room where you sit while the other person before you is on. And they're like, all right, you got 5 minutes. So then you walk out in front of everybody, and it's this big empty room with 2 cameras. All right, and they give you the camera guy goes 3, 2. You say your name and go.
Right.
Wow.
And then you just get the off the stage.
I want to
And
see
then
his.
on 9/11, I got the phone call.
Wow.
That says that was Lauren, and it was like, we're gonna put you on the cast. And I was like,
Nice,
oh shit!
on the
and then,
cast.
And then September 12th, they released the information that I was gonna be on the cast.
Yeah, that was
Whoa.
the first thing I was ever able to like tell my parents in comedy that they understood. You know, normally they'd be like, "Oh, I'm featuring this weekend for so and so." They'd be like, "Who cares?" This was the first one. I was like, "I'm gonna be on Saturday Night Live." They were like, "Wow!"
So that night, I had shows at the Stand. So I was going to do shows,
and I was like, "Oh, this is gonna be the coolest night ever." All the comedians are gonna be like, "Hey, there he is," you know. So I'm on the train from Queens going into the city,
and I got a text from my agent.
I'm from the East Coast. I lived in New York for the most of my life, guys, and I moved to New Jersey. But it's something about New York, the trains, the sounds.
I was like, "Did you say the word?"
And I was like, "No." Like, I was like, "I wouldn't say that." I was like, "No, I don't even. Why would I say that?" And then she was like, "Here's a video of you saying it." And I was like, "Holy shit!" And then, so you know how it is riding the train. You lose service.
Ugh.
So I would lose service for like 5 minutes, and then at the next stop, get a million texts that are like, "Holy shit, you're fucked." Yeah, so I got like gradually canceled every stop.
And by the time I got to the Stand,
Oh.
like TMZ was there.
No.
For the next 4 days, Shane was under criticism and exposure in level he never experienced before in his life.
That's crazy.
The pressure from the media campaign and Twitter debates on national level was crushing, in Shane's own words.
Racist
At the
jokes.
time,
What's
Shane
the
was getting
point of
phone calls
jokes?
from agents, SNL's Lauren Michael, and people he know telling him what they thought would save his career. NBC going as far as giving him a written apology to tweet.
NBC is saying, here's the statement you need to say. And it's like a written out, like, what I said was inexcusable. I've learned from my mistakes. Like that, like paragraph, you need to tweet this. And I was like, I'm not going to tweet that. Like that's, you know, it's crazy. But then Lauren was like, I just need you to give me something. So I was like, all right, that's fair. It's reasonable. And so, yeah, I just had like 5 minutes. He was like, I need something in the next 10 minutes. So I just sat there and typed something out.
I'm a comedian who pushes boundaries. I sometimes miss. If you go through my 10 years of comedy, most of it's bad. You're going to find a lot of bad misses. I'm happy to apologize to anyone who's actually offended by anything I've said. My intention is never to hurt anyone, but I'm trying to be the best comedian I can be.
I never knew
Sometimes that
about
requires
this.
risks.
And then came back twice in a year.
I could resign, or they could fire me. They offered me that. And I was like, nah, you guys are gonna have to fire me. This is gonna be on you.
On September 16th, SNL released a statement saying Shane Gillis won't join the cast.
Wow.
Despite many offers, Shane chose not to do any interviews after getting fired for a while.
As soon as something like this happens, the far right is quick to be like, yes, join us.
Yeah.
Fuck them. Yeah. It's like, no, I don't want that either.
On September 7th, 2021,
Wow.
Shane Gillis Live in Austin was
This when
released
he
on
did
YouTube
this?
and became very successful with 12 million views at the time of making this video.
You were already
That's
famous,
crazy.
but now you're famous for a good reason.
The right reason.
True.
The right reason. Newly viral sensation Shane Gillis is in the building.
Let's go.
Yo,
The
that's
release of his
crazy.
special launched Shane's popularity to a new level.
I realize like Fox News is basically black church for old white dudes. You know what I mean? Like literally everything they say, my dad just sits there like, yes, preach, Tucker.
The free special is funnier than any special released on Netflix in recent years.
Hidden Figures was good, the movie about the black ladies at NASA, or as my dad likes to call it, Medea Goes to the Moon.
Yo, man, if y'all got any suggestions on what I could react to from Shane Gillis, I'm interested. I mean, I found this. This story was dope. This story was dope, and I enjoyed this. Let me know what you guys thought about this documentary. If you guys have any other suggestions, leave them in the comments, and I'll see you guys on the next one. I'm out of here.